came here in 1954. My father bought the farm in September 54. Barbara joined me here in 62. And my son Dick is now running the farm, and he's a busy chap, but I know he's interested in what goes on.
And I was beginning to get very interested in archaeology. I was turning a drawer out in my desk and I found some coins that an earlier metal detector had found up on this area.
How old were the coins? Can you remember what they did?
I have a feeling they were Roman. It would be fascinating to know, after all these years, what had been going on here.
We're here undertaking the first of the archaeological surveys for the Meon Valley Archaeological Project. It's been organised through Peter O'Sullivan of the Meon Valley Project in coordination with the farmer and other archaeological experts. We've got two metal detectorists taking part, as Mike Gaines and John Whitaker, and we've also got a student from the University of Winchester who's coordinating the geophysical survey. We started off setting up for the various surveys, getting the volunteers involved right from the start, so they understood all the stages that were involved. And we've made good progress. We've surveyed a relatively large part of the field with geophysics, and again covered a probably equivalent amount with metal detectors. We decided to choose this field on the basis of previous discoveries which have been made by metal detectorists, which suggested to me that we stand a fairly good chance of having an Anglo-Saxon cemetery here, which is associated with an old Bronze Age barrow in this area of the field. So I wanted to do geophysics to see if we could recover the outline of the Bronze Age barrow, and we won't know if we've been successful until the end and we download the data. We've also had the metal detectorists surveying the area for any additional finds that might have been disturbed from Anglo-Saxon graves. And there's been a small number of finds that we've discovered that could have originated from Anglo-Saxon graves. We're not certain, but taking all the evidence together, I'm fairly confident that we're starting to get more secure evidence for the presence of an Anglo-Saxon cemetery here.
We picked the site because of a few factors, because of the aerial photo, which I think was taken in the 60s, and it showed a round barrow ditch, not the actual round barrow, the ditch which went around the round barrow. And then there was also a few Saxon finds and from metal detecting which was found in the field, and that's quite common because it would have been ploughed out and would have moved and things like that, so it wouldn't have necessarily been. And Saxon burials and things were quite often associated with prehistoric monuments, so it's quite a common thing to have. So then resistivity was employed to just sort of check it out really, and see what was going to be there. Res is quite good for this sort of thing because it's good at detecting pits and ditches and things, and it also detects walls and things like that. So bigger features, it's not particularly good for burials and things because it's meter readings, so every reading that you get is a meter squared. We've got 6 grids that we did. They're all 20 metres by 20 metres, and then every reading, we take a reading every metre. So this is what we did yesterday, and then hopefully we've got a round barrow, because if you can see there's a curve that comes up round here, and then it's not as obvious in this one, and then it comes back round here as well, and again it's not as obvious in this one there.
I'm Lorna Alley-Red. I live in Meon Stoke, and I'm a housewife and a carer for my mother. Coming out on a day like this is just wonderful, especially when you find something really exciting.
And what have you found?
Well, with my friend Roger Robinson, we found a couple of groats, we think. Groats, Roman coins anyway. So that was lovely. It's just wonderful living in a place like this, and it's just lovely to know who's lived here before and what they left behind. It's really exciting, but just the whole valley is full of interesting things, and I'd love to see some archaeology in the river, because I'm sure along that Meon there's a lot of things hidden in the river, but I don't know how you can do that. So one day I'll put my long wellies on and go and find out.
My name's Alison. I live in a mill next to the church in Corhampton, and I'm helping to support the website as well as John and also my daughters.
I'm Charlotte Smalley, and I go to Portsmouth High School, and yeah, we help maintain the website as well.
I'm Emily, and I also go to Portsmouth High School, and I help with the website. On the website I have updated the information on it and added pictures and linked words to different pages.
I think I finally mastered the program, WordPress, and that took a while. And I wasn't as familiar with linking as I am now, so I've had lots of practice in that, especially with PDF files. So it's been good.
It helps with controlled assessment work and Word documents and stuff like that, as it helps you to link stuff together.
Do you talk about it with your other pupils and teachers and things?
I've told a few of my friends.
Have you shown them the website?
I've hinted that they should look at it, that I have stuff to do with it. I'm not sure if they have though, but
Do you enjoy doing it?
Yes, because as I've dropped ICT as a subject now for GCSE, I don't have the chance to do it at school, so it's good that I can do it for this project. We were doing metal detecting this morning, and the main skill that we learnt from it was how to tell if it's iron or not, because we're not interested in that today.
Well, most of the iron that will come is going to be like nails and stuff, which we're not really interested in. We also learnt that you have to keep the coil close to the ground, and you have to sweep so that you go in a semicircle.
It's been really interesting. I've learnt so much just doing the resistivity survey and surveying and taking the readings. It's been so interesting.
I originated from the east end of London in Shoreditch and Hackney, Bow area of east end of London. I was born in Bow Hospital, so technically I'm a Cockney for a very short period in my life. My parents moved out to Dagenham, which is in Essex, in the late 1950s, and in 1966 my father moved, and the whole family moved to Tixfield in Fareham. His job moved to Tixfield in Fareham, and my parents then moved to a house in Newtown, Soberton, which is 3 miles down the valley from here. I lived on Europe's biggest housing estate, and all the lads were streetwise kids. It was a very rough area, and the school I went to was extremely rough, and the 2 or 3 years that I spent there before moving down to Hampshire was pretty horrendous. Used to get beaten up, jumped on, so life was a case of existing from one day to another, not particularly learning. So when I left my school at Dagenham and moved down to Swanwell School in 1966-67, it was a transformation of unbelievable. Kids were friendly, didn't want to knife me, jump on me, so I didn't have to run away from them, which was a nice change because I had to. So it's a different atmosphere, different lifestyle, and moving from a jungle of houses to the jungle of the land and trees and everything was just unbelievable. My parents bought a house just by 100 acres forest. I saw trees mostly for the first time in my life, and I could actually go out and identify what the trees were, as against looking at houses and cars and everything else. So it was fantastic. I was very, very lucky that my parents moved to that location. People perhaps don't understand where they live or what it really means to them. They live there, go to work, and that's it. But the environment is very important to everybody. There's a sustainability and the enjoyment of it. I'm lucky to be living in the countryside. Well, it's been very interesting. This is the first time I've worked out really in the field. I've done archaeological digs, but not actually in the field to do the surveying. And it's interesting to see how it's all put together, how the logic of it is, and the types of equipment for doing the seismic survey, and also doing the metal detecting. I found that's quite an interesting hard work, and there's an art to it. It's not the case of picking up the kit and when it's left to right, and hoping you're going to get it. There's a knack to it, there's a knack and a skill to it, and to listen to the bleeps and understand what the bleeps mean, whether it's a good spot or a bad spot, and working with the people with their knowledge, and getting on with the people in the village that perhaps I hadn't met before. So you gradually get encompassed in both areas, the knowledge of doing the archaeology side, surveying, talking to the people in the village that you might not have met before.